All right, now what we're going to do next is install WordPress on a host. There's a lot of ways to do this. I'm just going to go ahead and do it with BizNF. If you need help to walk through how your particular host works, let me know, and I can help you out with some specific directions on that. Pretty straightforward though on most hosts. You're going to look for some kind of installer. There's going to be, again, on my GoDaddy account, it's something like web apps. You're going to look for something similar to that. It just happens to be this Zachy installer on biz.nf. So click on that Zachy installer. Now this is going to lean on you having an empty directory created, remember. So just refer back to what I talked about earlier on how to create an empty directory. Make sure you got an empty root directory for this. And then you choose WordPress as your install. You're going to choose one of these templates. Doesn't really matter because you can swap your template out really easily with WordPress. So just go ahead and click any one of these. Click Next. It's going to ask you about some plugins, which I accidentally skipped inside there. Just click Next on that as well. And this is really the important part. This is where you configure your website. So the thing is here, you're going to pick which directory you want this installed into. So I'm just going to go ahead and click the directory I just created. And now what I'm going to look for is an empty directory. Now my directory is not empty because I just uploaded something into it via FTP. So I could go back in there and connect and uninstall all that stuff. I'm just going to go ahead and put it in a subfolder, okay, which is okay. You can just make a subfolder. I'm just going to call this one shop as a subdirectory. Now, subdirectory just creates a subfolder. That adds that to the URL. If there's anything in your main folder, you can install WordPress into it. It installs it to a subdirectory, which then becomes part of your URL. So you got to be careful with this. Probably like to go in and just delete those files and install it in the main directory, but for this instance, it doesn't really matter. Next, I'm going to add a title. It doesn't really matter what it is. And then all you do is you go in and you add your email address, username, and password, and click Next, and click Install, and you're done. And that's how you install WordPress on your host using BizNF. It's, like I said, it's a little different from host to host, but that's basically the idea. Now, important note here, whatever you add as your admin email address, username, and password, you don't want to lose that. That's what you're going to use to log into WordPress in the next step. So just make sure you write all those credentials down. You should be good to go.